Hi, Brenda.
Hey, so yeah, to continue our conversation from this morning, we usually have no problem finding things to talk about, and I wanted to just ask you a few questions about, and I really appreciate you doing this, what it
Welcome.
is like that you got out of the last course, and also one-on-one coaching, and also I just want to tell people Julie has been instrumental in the book, the Delicious Alignment book. She has been one of the editors on the book, and she was so wonderful because she is a proofreader and a professional proofreader, and way more than that. But in what is it? A
Repurposed English teacher.
repurposed English teacher.
Well, history and social study. Yeah, writing. The
Yes,
written word, written and oral communication.
yes, yes. And you found Delicious Alignment through the group, right?
Mhm.
Initially through the Facebook group, and then you found out I was writing the book, and I don't know how that all came about, but anyway, you got involved
I
in
just,
that.
I just suggested, volunteered. For if you need any proofreading,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you said yes, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we
Yes.
went from there.
Yeah. So, uh, tell me, what has been your journey since discovering Delicious Alignment, doing some, one-on-one coaching with me, doing the last course in August, and
That was August. Wow.
yeah, yeah, and then making the decision to do the next course that we're
Yeah.
starting January 27th. So, what has sort of been your journey from finding Delicious Alignment till now? Because I know you've been an Aber,
A neighbor for a long time.
for a
Yeah.
long time. So tell me a little bit
Um,
about your journey.
well, yeah, I mean, gosh, I'm trying too hard here to make it concise and and I've got to say, real life here. My cat's right over here playing and distracting me a little bit, and she may join us and walk across the keyboard. I don't know, but this is real life. But it's again with things like distractions like this. It's okay. I'm okay. And like my attitude about food has just shifted so much, and I'm trying really hard to remember exactly what you said. So this is all part of it, to just relax, just go with the flow. Stop trying so hard to do it perfectly. You know?
Oh yeah, this is
Yeah,
just pretend it's you and me. That's
I
it. We're
know.
having a
Yeah, but I
conversation.
mean, whether it's food or any aspect of your life, just
Huh.
try hard and be perfect for acceptance. I mean, it's all tied together. You know.
Yeah. So how, let me be more specific then.
Okay.
So regarding food, when you first perhaps started coaching with me, we're going back now, to, like you said, to early last year, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that we were talking a lot about, um, just enjoying food, not having
Yeah.
the guilt over and the worry and the
And
obsession.
yeah, and then one thing that you said, what there was one morning you had ice cream for breakfast, and you
Right.
posted this, on Facebook, on with the group, and even this morning I thought about that. Oh, Ren had breakfast ice cream for breakfast that morning, and that was okay. There's permission for this. So this is something, even just as little and as significant, I mean, as that was that you had, I mean, we don't have ice cream for breakfast because that's not good for you, and that it's okay, and we have permission to do
Mhm.
things like this and to just
Yeah,
lighten up already.
right. Like the whole thing of listening to your body and
And yeah, so
if
and
you
that's one
want
of the
that.
other big things, that pause and think, okay, what feels good? I mean, what feels good to eat? What do I want to do right now? But especially with food, thinking, okay, what sounds really good right now? What do I want? And listening to me. And this is something I had not ever done, ever.
Yeah.
Mm.
Did you have guilt about eating?
Oh my God, yeah. And here I am, what, 30 or 40 pounds overweight. And yeah, the guilt. I remember one time eating, a long time ago, eating a cinnamon roll, an amazing cinnamon roll, and just crying because it tasted so good, but I wanted it so bad, but I knew it was so bad for me. And if, I mean, that whole thing, and eating
Mm-hmm.
it anyway and feeling awful, but it tasted so good, but I felt awful. And that has really stuck with me. And that was years ago. But we've all experienced that, I think, or
How is it?
many of us have.
How is it different now?
I just give myself permission and again, just lighten up and think, okay, so I ate it. Okay, so, and knowing that my body knows how to extract the nutrition or what it needs. I mean, we usually use the word nutrition, but my body knows what to do with that
Mm-hmm.
and balance, So eat a salad tomorrow or just go easy, not and stop criticizing myself already for what I haven't done or what I have done. Just stop criticizing myself.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. 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 That's one of the themes throughout the book is how much we criticize ourselves,
Yeah.
and in the course, how much we criticize ourselves over our food choices.
Well, and it's all about acceptance. With society, accept me if I eat this big honking thing, being a bit overweight, and you can just feel the critical eyes on you, and maybe they're only your eyes. But you can just feel the criticism. Oh, if she really cared about her weight, she wouldn't be eating that or eating a great, ice cream, Rocky Road ice cream. Um, and it's okay. And who cares what other people think? And so much of that is imagined, and it's us doing that to ourselves. And how's that working out? Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, because when I think back, for me personally, I mean, for so long, for like, my 20s and my 30s and just some of my 40s, I mean, just really just hating myself for my food choices. And then for me, it was very severe. I would go on these week-long binges. That's how it was for me personally. Everyone's got different levels of um criticizing themselves over
yeah,
food
yeah,
choices. My story is that it was severe. And and I think of how it is now. Like, yeah, I like to eat healthy foods and I love to eat salads and all of that, but when I want something, and if I really want it, I have it. I have
yeah, yeah,
just have
yeah.
it. And
And if
it's
it's something
satisfying.
that's,
I feel satisfied now.
yeah,
Where
yeah,
before I was never satisfied because I was always trying to let you know, deprive myself, and or I was putting myself down, major self-criticism, that I never felt satisfied with food.
yeah,
So I kept finding myself constantly going back to the refrigerator because I never felt satisfied.
yeah.
And now it's like, well, like, you really oh, are you gonna have rye bread this morning? We don't usually have rye bread in the house because I don't know, we just don't. But when we do, don't worry about your cat. It's fine. She's fine.
Well, she's very busy over here, and
That's fine. But like what? So now, right now, we have rye bread, and I just love rye bread. And I'm like, oh, I really should. I should have the gluten-free bread. It agrees with me more. And I'm like, I really want that rye bread toast with my eggs. And so I have it, and I just like savor every
yeah, and
bite.
that's where I am now with something. Just savor it. Just tastes so good. And I had something yesterday, the day before, and I was going to remember and I knew this interview was coming, and I can't remember what it was. And I guess maybe that's not the point, what it is, but the savoring, it just was delicious.
Mhm.
Oh, so delicious.
Yeah,
And maybe not something on the approved list of somebody's approved list, but and it that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And it was just delicious.
yeah, because Abraham tells us to find pleasure in the food, to enjoy the food.
Yeah.
And so that was like a new concept for me because many of the times I wasn't even tasting the food anymore because I just kept
Yeah.
eating way beyond after I was full to the point of
Oh, and
feeling.
that's so
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was the
good.
behavior. That was the
Yeah.
behavior. But now it's like I'm satisfied and I stop when I'm full.
And that's something that I'm working on, or my awareness is growing, is listening to myself more. When I'm full, stop. Even if they're just a few more bites on my plate. And thank God I did not grow up with the clean plate club. My mother never did that to us. Clean your plate. There's starving children in China or Africa or whatever country it was that week. Or, my mother chose and did not do that with my own children. But
Mhm,
it's like you have just a few more bites. So just finish it and thinking, no, I don't have to listen and
mhm.
just give myself permission to go easy. Just go easy.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And this whole thing about, labeling ourselves, like
Yeah.
I'm chubby, like I might, well, so what if I'm a little chubby? So what?
Yeah.
Do
So
I need to
what?
be a size 5 in order to share this message, with other women?
Yeah.
And I'm like, who says I have to, like labeling ourselves?
Yeah.
Um, how has the course and the one-on-one coaching helped you with that? Because I know a couple of times you said, well, I'm overweight, and it's all. I mean, it's something that we do. We're
Yeah.
like, there's a little bit of shame in there. Like, well, yes, I know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
More
know, I'm overweight. Like letting everyone I know. Like, what an imagine where we didn't, have that anymore. And I know you've made a lot of progress in that area. So
I
I want
have.
to
I I have.
ask
And
you about that.
it's more like just the awareness. My awareness has grown so much, and the um permission I'm giving myself to feel just okay, and feeling more okay with my weight, with where I am, and reminding myself that maybe I'm just pre-Raphaelite. If I was in a different century, I mean, I'm a
Oh,
babe
there
too,
you
but
go, using those big words again. What was that?
pre-Raphaelite.
Pre-raf. Oh, okay. Yes.
But I'm just sort of like one of those women in the Italian or French, or I'm okay, not an art history major here. Um, in one of those portraits where the women have curves, and
Right.
there's
Yeah.
a lot to those women, and right, and if someone doesn't like what they see, they can look the other way.
Mhm.
Nobody's paying them to look at me, and if they don't like what they see, okay, editing myself here. Um, because my favorite word I'm saving that for later. But they can just look the other way, and I don't need their acceptance. I don't need their acceptance, and it's their loss. And again, this is a mind game I know I'm doing with myself. So reminding myself that also.
And
Like,
it's really about how we feel
hmm
about ourselves
yeah,
is the bottom
yeah.
line.
So again, giving myself permission to feel better about me. And a lot of times throughout my life, I've said, well, if I really cared, I'd do something about it. And I think, oh, that's not very, constructive thinking. But also just um, loving how my body responds, whether it's exercise, or thinking or using my brain. Just my body responds to whatever. I don't know. I don't know the end of that sentence. But even doing some stretching exercises. I'm missing the gym. God, with COVID, I am missing the gym. I'm thinking, well, if it really mattered to me, I'd go out in the garage and go lift weights. And I think, ooh, destructive thinking. Don't even go there. Don't even go there.
So soothe yourself. What do you
There
do?
we go.
What do you
Yeah.
do when
Yeah.
you have a thought like that?
Yeah.
What do you do, Julie? What
I
now?
soothe myself, and one of the Abraham's processes is to pivot, you know. So, and Rhonda, you said something or noticed that or commented on that last summer about I seem to do a good job of pivoting,
Mhm.
and you maybe don't even remember that. But it's like catching myself in that negative, destructive thinking and just saying, "Oh, wait, nope, pivot." And I think I said somewhere, I don't just say pivot. Sometimes I yell at it, "No, pivot!" "No, oh, pivot." Okay, don't do that to myself. Don't do it. I'm being nicer to me. I'm being nicer to me. So pivot.
Yeah, I did.
Put a
What was it?
P on my forehead.
The other, like yesterday or something, I was like, oh, I don't know what it was, but it was like, I was having a thought and I was like, okay, from now on, whenever I have that thought, I'm going to go, shut the F up. It wasn't exactly that, but it definitely had the F word in it. It was something like that. And I was like, I was laughing to myself, like, like, no, I don't need to be doing that.
Okay, and I'm liking this because we have in transactional analysis, and I'm a big follower of that. We have our critical parent, and I call her the bitch, and I just sometimes say, "Shut up, bitch," and with it feels so nice to say. It's so satisfying to say that. Shut up, bitch, and I think I'll throw in some adjectives for that bitch.
Well,
And
I
then
remember.
start laughing, right? And then you start laughing and thinking, okay, yeah, I feel better. I feel
Whatever
better.
works, right? In the
Yeah, it
in the
works.
in the game of pivoting and
Yeah,
switching your thoughts, whatever works, whatever's gonna get
yeah,
you, pivot to something else because that
yeah.
thought doesn't feel good.
Well, and then it's saying, well, what do I want then? If this is what I don't, if I this is so negative over here, then what do I want? Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so focus, right? And
Yeah.
Abraham said somewhere, your focus is your prayer.
Mhm.
And I love that, and I have that written down. My focus is my prayer, you know.
Yeah.
And another thing that Abraham said, appreciation is the name of the game. And I have this on a sticky in my car, except the adhesive has worn off, and I need to write it again. But also right next to this sticky is, what do I like about this right now?
Mhm.
So that's another Abraham.
I like
I
that.
don't know if it's an identified process, but it's a, what do I like about this right now? So I'm applying that to food, my body, and appreciating. And another really growing awareness for me is not just externally. And I'm so pleased with my lipstick today. I told that to Rhonda, or no mask, and I get to wear lipstick, right?
No mask, right.
No
Oh, that's
mask.
what you meant.
But it's like appreciating inside. And Abraham talks all the time about the cells of your body, but it's like it really sunk in a couple of months ago, and just thanking the cells of my body for doing what they do. And um and then I thought, well, not just my cells, what about my tendons? Okay, what about my pancreas? Okay, what about my nervous system? I mean, and just going on and on. And you could do your own sort of, I guess,
Mhm.
rampage of appreciation. And it doesn't have to be a rampage. Just start thinking, and my awareness is growing about what is all going so well. There's so much that's going so well. And so
Mhm.
what? I have some fat. Okay, it's not good for my liver. Okay, eat some more lettuce or something. Or don't worry about it.
Yeah, and even, you know, um, the things that we say, like, and in our coaching, if we were in a coaching center, I would say, well, my job is to listen for the stories that you're telling yourself. So like I listen for that, and then I'm pointed out and see if a story you want to transform, or you want to just kind of work with that story because it's the path of least resistance. So in other words, you just
Yeah. Yeah.
said, okay, so what, I have some fat and it's not good for my liver. So that's a story,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that's a story, right? And so these are the things that we tell ourselves. These are the different stories that we tell ourselves. And so it's like, it's good to just know, oh, this is a story I'm telling myself, that this is not good for my liver. What's a different story that I could tell? Because this is okay. We know science exists, and there's like, yes, they do tests and they can tell you that these foods have more nutrition and it's better to, be in this weight range than that weight range. But that's science, and they don't know the other component about vibration yet. They
Right.
don't know that other component about how powerful vibration is and alignment. So
And what I'm reminding myself here now is that when I have those thoughts, and this is again training myself thinking, pivot, right? Because right, just be in alignment. I don't have to worry about my liver or my vision, or this is the news thing that I want my vision back. And I think, oh, I want my vision back. There's some resistance in that because it's focusing on the lack, and so I'm finding different language. It's more positive. I look forward to being able to see better. I don't know. I'm not there yet, but it's like going back to liver or eating something and then feeling like this is detrimental, or not eating, or not or whatever. Just thinking, right? Just get happy. What's
mhm.
satisfying. And if you can't quite get happy, you can't jump. I can't do that anyway. Like turn on a dime and oh, now I'm happy. But just as Abraham says, reach for the better feeling thought, and the soothing myself. And again, earlier this week I had a massive vodka tonic. It was delicious. Oh my god, it was good. And then the next day, because I didn't feel like I needed it, but I thought that sure sounds good in view of okay, political things this week. I'll just say it. But and I was so out of alignment on Wednesday and let myself get caught up in the nonsense, and then had this massive drink and didn't sleep well at all. And the next day I'm thinking, well, right, how'd that work for you? I was out of alignment and did not. I decided to soothe myself through alcohol, and it didn't work very well. And read again yesterday or the day before that Abraham says when you are looking for something, a substance to soothe yourself, then you're out of alignment. And that's not going to work for you at all, whether it's, oh my God, red vines or Oreos or
Yeah,
lime, corn chip, whatever.
so yes, yes, I do even write about that in the book, that we're going outside of ourselves to fill that void.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
whether it's food or it's alcohol or whatever, we're trying to fill that void,
Yeah.
because the only thing that's going to fill it is alignment.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
Exactly.
however,
Yeah.
sometimes that's the path of least resistance. So there we go back again to not to soothing ourselves about criticizing ourselves for
Yeah.
going to a substance.
Mm.
I mean, it's okay, that you went to a vodka tonic to make that was maybe the path of least resistance for you at that time. It's okay that, I went to the chocolate chip cookies, freshly baked out of the oven to soothe myself. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
mean,
I
just,
do know. Yeah.
yeah. So again, when we do, it's about not, it's about not making ourselves wrong. It's about not criticizing ourselves when we do feel like we have reached for something to soothe ourselves. I mean, what if that's perfectly fine, and it is, and it is. I mean, I remember when I was first working with a coach, Abraham coach on food named Diana, and I would, okay, so what's going on? She would say, and and I'd say, oh, I ate three these little rice puddings last night, and I know they make me feel sick. Plus, I bought them for my dad, and I ate all his rice pudding. I just feel horrible physically. I just and I ate like, oh, big failure. I ate these, and she says, "Well, so what? Did you enjoy it?" And I'm like, "Well, that yeah." And then the next time that happens, so what? Did you enjoy it? So she kept doing that. So then I started to hear her voice in my head, and that's the beauty, of having support around you. Because I started hearing her voice in my head when I ate something, and then I go,
Mm.
so what? Did you enjoy it?
And and that's maybe one of the biggest things through the course. That I hear your voice, and I see Tammy's face. I see the humor in this woman. And a few days ago, going to get a cinnamon roll and a coffee. Excuse me. I'm thinking, I have permission. I have permission. And um and I'll just go ahead. Okay, I can share that since this is just the group. Okay, I did make a reference to myself, and I'm newly single. Okay, and I'm 66, and I have curves, and I self-identify as a lusty babe. Okay,
I know you coined that phrase. I remember in the
I'm a lusty babe.
yes.
And eating the cinnamon roll and this coffee, I thought about you, Rhonda, and Tammy. So, Tammy, if you're listening, hello, sweetie. Right, it's okay. I have permission. I have permission, and the cells of my body know what to do with this. And then the other big thing that I started 2 or 3 months ago, or recently, anyway, is thanking my body for receiving the food or the whatever the foods. Thank you for this food, and thank you, body, for receiving it. And this is a huge shift in my attitude also.
Yeah.
Appreciation, right? Appreciating it. And maybe there's more to be had from a salad with vegetables and leafy greens. Maybe. Or this cardamom. You can, yeah, my attitude right here. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember
Cardamom cinnamon roll from the Red Hen Bakery in Coopville, Washington. Oh my God. For me, it's a to die for.
Good to know. Good to know.
Okay, next.
So I
I
remember
need water now.
I'm salivating. So I do remember working with you, and what I did appreciate so much, it was how excited you would get about your meals. Like, I'm going out and having a half pint and a burger, or
half a pint, honey. A whole pint.
A whole pint. Oh, sorry. And you would just be so excited about and I just love that, because that's the message. That's one of the important things.
Yeah.
Learning to love your food, making friends with food. And you just got that so quickly, and you just started celebrating food. And as you know, we talk about that in the book and in the class. We have a full session on that. It's about, and I remember working with someone, and she never really enjoyed her food. She never did, because her husband would prepare the food. He would do all the shopping, and he would prepare the food. So she thought, well, because he's doing all of that, she really doesn't have a right to ask for what she wants, because he's doing it. So he was always making these. Yeah. And she's, she might be listening to this, and I'm not going to give her name, but we saw that during the course and during the private coaching, that she really was never experiencing enjoying her food, and she couldn't even remember a time when she did. So she was able to eventually start finding pleasure with the food
Good.
and enjoying it. And that is part of the whole thing of becoming free of food,
You know,
free
and
of
I
the
think that's,
obsession, free of the
oh,
obsession with food and body is one of the keys, one of the steps is learning how to love your food and celebrate it.
and I think that's one of the other bigger shifts also. I mean, I've always I've always liked food. Oh, and listen to the judgment I'm just doing right now with it. Yeah, you can see,
Oh,
baby, I've always loved food.
oh, you could tell, but yeah, we do. That's what we do, right? Like you could
Okay,
tell
well,
by.
you know what I have to say about that thinking, but I won't say it right here, right now. I save that for later.
Hmm.
People will say, "Yeah, Julie, we know what you have to say." Okay, yeah, we know. Yeah, well, lighten up. But um, went to dinner. You know, with this savoring my food and savoring the bites. And I'd be with someone. I say, hey, "Hang on, just a minute. I'm having a moment here." You know. Oh, and Rhonda, would you like to cook scallops? And I have yet to learn how to cook scallops, but I had scallops last weekend. Okay, and I live in the Seattle area, so we have amazing seafood here. So I had these
Mhm.
big scallops at this high end restaurant that were just to die for. And Rhonda, I was going to message you, and then I forgot. I think, but after that, then I had this lemon cake. Oh God, it was so
Hmm.
good. I mean, right,
Yeah.
savoring your food
So
is a
yeah. So you were you even helped me with it by you were just like, always you were celebrating. Oh, I'm having this. Oh, I'm having. And I was like, wow, she is really doing it. She's really celebrating her food. And I
and
mean, I sit at the table with my husband and my father, and now my daughter's staying with us, and it's like I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good. If it's good, if it's something.
yeah, yeah,
Usually, if I'm really hungry, which I never let myself get really, I didn't
yeah,
even know what it was like to be hungry because I was always eating because I was never
yeah,
satisfied. So now I just eat when I'm really, really hungry. So anything tastes good. I mean, whatever you're eating just tastes amazing
yeah,
when
yeah.
you're really hungry. Like,
Mm.
oh, sunny
Well, and
side up.
I have to share about the pizza. We grew up with the tradition that we would get pizza and Pepsi on Christmas Eve because we never had those foods. And my mother is a nurse, we had healthy stuff. Judgment, judgment. So on Christmas Eve, we would get pizza and Pepsi, which morphed into pizza and beer as we got older. Oh my God, that's such a I got match made in heaven. So I did this for myself on Christmas Eve, and it was so good. So I decided on New Year's Eve to do the same thing for myself, and it was
Oh,
so good.
hmm.
Oh
Yeah,
God, oh yeah, delicious.
yeah,
But right, enjoying the hell out of your food,
right, right. And just so I don't want to keep you too much longer
Oh,
because I want to be respectful of your time. But
oh, sure.
so the other thing that you said was, I remember that you had a breakthrough in was the exercise where you used to feel guilty about not exercising, and then the same thing, you had that shift. And I don't want
Yeah,
to speak for you, but tell me if I'm correct, where you had the shift that if I want to exercise, like exercise also became fun instead of like,
yeah,
oh, feeling
yeah.
guilty because I'm not exercising, like listening to your inner being. So if you want to
Yeah,
say
and I've
something
been
about.
doing that a lot. Again, I live in the Seattle area. We have a lot of rain. And now I've moved over to Whidbey Island, Washington, right at the top of Puget Sound. And the winds come screaming down from the Arctic and from Canada. And it's very windy here. And, uh, and I get concerned about the branches, falling. So I haven't been walking as much and starting to think, oh my God, and pivot. Okay, pivot. It's okay. And there's that critical parent, that bitch, that's trying to get into me. And I'm okay. I'm okay. It'll come. It'll come. When and again thinking, okay, and I do this. I just automatically. It's not that I'm saying I am holy, but it's it's I guess it's a centering yourself, and started yoga, and they do this, and maybe there's a really good reason why they do this, but it's like okay, bring myself right here and think, what sounds good right now? What sounds good? I'd rather read. Okay, I have permission to go read. Yeah, or
Yeah. But I
something.
remember when the weather was nice and still you know, like you were like transitioned right from, oh, I should go out and exercise, but I don't really feel like it, to I'm going to exercise when it feels good to exercise.
Yeah, and that's yeah. So, and I kind of got away from that a little bit, and I'm coming back into that now.
Yeah.
And
So
it's
so
good.
why are you doing the next course? And are you you know, excited about the next course?
I am. It's one of the reasons I'm doing it is because of the community and because of the support and um and just to sort of keep on track. It,
Mhm.
it sounds a bit cliches, but I really do mean that. And the support and the laughing, and lightening up about food
Yeah.
and
Light.
and I know some of the people maybe now a little bit. I do get shy at the beginning until I know people. I do get shy, but I think okay, I'm right. I'm not going to say that. That's my other favorite saying that, okay, let go of that ridiculous thinking and just be part of the group. And this is so healthy psychologically, you know, which translates into physically and mentally, and I really love Rhonda too. So
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I love you too. So well, thank you so much for for this interview. I really appreciate it.
well, and thank you for asking me. Thank you
Okay.
for the chance to put on lipstick. Gosh,
Yes, right.
not that I need the chance to put on lipstick, but it's fun to say that.
Well, we don't need, who wears lipstick anymore? You have to wear a
I
mask.
know.
Only
I
on
know.
Zoom.
It was
Julie.
an event
Yeah.
today.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so
Okay.
much, Julie.